Young and the Restless Spoilers. Phyllis opens her eyes. Phyllis Summers' eyes fluttered open, and the sterile white of the hospital room came into focus. The rhythmic beeping of machines filled the air as she blinked slowly, trying to make sense of her surroundings. Her body felt heavy and weak, but the realization that she was alive sparked a glimmer of hope within her. After everything she had endured, the betrayal, the danger, and the near-death experience, she was still here. "I'm alive," she whispered hoarsely, her voice barely audible. The room stirred. Summer Newman, her daughter, rushed to her side, tears streaming down her face. "Mom. You're awake," she cried, gripping Phyllis's hand tightly. The warmth of her daughter's touch was comforting, but Phyllis's expression remained blank. She looked at Summer with a mixture of confusion and unease. Her lips parted as if to speak, but the words didn't come. Victor Newman and Sharon Newman, standing silently near the back of the room, exchanged uneasy glances. For Victor, the sight of Phyllis awake was a relief, though it complicated the storm brewing in Genoa City. For Sharon, it was nothing short of a nightmare. Phyllis had all the evidence she needed to ruin Sharon, to bring her crimes, or perceived crimes, to light. The prospect of prison loomed heavily over Sharon's mind. But as she stared at Phyllis, something felt off. "Phyllis?" Sharon ventured cautiously. "Do you know where you are?" Phyllis turned her gaze to Sharon, her brows furrowing. Her lips moved again, but this time the question that escaped sent chills through the room. Who are you?" A shocking revelation. The room fell silent. Summer froze, her hand tightening around Phyllis's. "Mom, it's me," she said, her voice trembling. "It's Summer. Your daughter." Phyllis stared at her blankly, her eyes scanning Summer's face as though she were a stranger. I don't know you," she stammered, her voice shaky. Panic began to rise in her chest as she looked around the room. "I don't know any of you. Where am I?" Elena Dawson stepped forward, her expression calm and professional. As Phyllis's doctor, she had anticipated some degree of confusion upon waking, but this level of memory loss was more severe than expected. "Phyllis," Elena said gently, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder, "you're in Genoa City Memorial Hospital. You've been unconscious for a while. You've suffered a head injury, and it's affected your memory. This disorientation is normal after trauma. Don't worry, we'll do everything we can to help you recover." Summer's face crumpled as tears spilled down her cheeks. "You don't remember me?" she whispered, her voice breaking. "You don't remember anything?" Phyllis shook her head slowly, fear clouding her features. "I don't know who I am," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Sharon's fragile relief. Sharon let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. For the first time since Phyllis woke up, a sliver of hope flickered within her. If Phyllis didn't remember anything, then she wouldn't remember the evidence she had gathered. She wouldn't remember the accusations or the threats to expose Sharon. For now, Sharon was safe. But guilt gnawed at her. Watching Phyllis in this vulnerable state, stripped of her memories and her identity, stirred a pang of compassion Sharon hadn't expected to feel. This wasn't the vengeful woman she feared, this was someone lost, someone broken. Victor, however, wasn't convinced. His sharp eyes studied Sharon intently. He had long suspected there was more to Sharon's panic over Phyllis's awakening than simple concern. And now, her visible relief only deepened his suspicions. "Elena," Victor said, his voice commanding, "how long does this kind of memory loss usually last?" Elena hesitated. "It varies," she admitted. "In some cases, the memory returns within days or weeks. In others, it may take months, or longer. There's also a chance she may never fully recover." Victor nodded thoughtfully, his expression unreadable. But inside, his mind was already racing. If Phyllis regained her memory, the fallout would be catastrophic for Sharon, and potentially for others in the room. He couldn't afford to let that happen. Over the next few days, Phyllis remained in a fog of confusion. She struggled to connect with Summer and the others who visited her, her frustration growing with each passing moment. Everyone insisted she was a strong, determined woman, but she didn't feel strong. She felt like a ghost, a hollow shell of the person she once was. Summer refused to give up, bringing photos, letters, and anything else she thought might jog her mother's memory. "This is us," she said, showing Phyllis a picture of the two of them laughing at a family gathering. "This is your life, Mom. You'll remember it, I know you will." Phyllis stared at the photo, her brows knitting together. "I want to remember," she murmured. "But it's like